Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support. And to my new audience, thank you for stopping by. In today's tutorial, we want to learn how to draft a long pencil skate pattern. In our channel, we have a short pencil skate pattern. You can check that out. But for the purpose of today's project, we are drafting a long pencil skate pattern. And the material you need is your pattern paper, as you can see mine, your tape, measuring tape, your rulers. I have my straight and my curve rulers there. You need your scissors and your marker. So the measurement you need is your waist measurement, your hip measurement, your raised knee measurement, and your full length measurement. So without wasting much of our time, let's go straight into the tutorial. So the first thing I will do will be for me to mark my starting point, which will represent my waist measurement. So I will draw a straight line. So this represents my waist line. So I will first of all mark all my vertical measurements before we go into the horizontal measurement. So after marking my waist line, the next line I will mark will be my hip line. So from my waist to my hip is 9 inches. So you measure same for your own. Measure from your waist. That's where you normally place your skate, to your hip line, whatever measurement you have. Then you mark it down. I will connect to have a straight line. I will call that my hip line. So this is my center front, while this is my side front. So after marking my hip line, the next line will be my raised knee. So when you measure from your waist to your knee line, then you come up by 4 inches. You can decide to come up by 3 inches. It depends. So I normally come up by 4 inches. So my true knee line is 25 inches. So we'll measure to where I have 25 inches. Then from that 25 inches point, I will come up by 4 inches, which is 21. So my true knee line is 25 inches. Then I come up by 4 inches. So I have 21 inches as my raised knee. I'll connect it to have a straight line. So I'll call that my raised knee line. So the next measurement now will be my full length measurement. And the full length I'm working with is 38 inches. So I'll mark my 38 inches. So I'll call out my full length line. So now let's impute our horizontal measurement. For our horizontal measurement, the first one we will impute is our waist measurement. So to get the waist measurement, you measure around your waist. When you measure around your waist, that's the smallest part of your waist, or where you normally place your skate. Then you divide it by 4. So the one I'm working with is 30 inches. So when I divide 30 by 4, it gives me 7.5. So I will mark my 7.5 inches. So I will add my dart intake now. So if I'm using 0.75 on each side, that's to say my dart intake will be 1.5 inches. So I will add my 1.5 inches. So this is my dart. Now let's go to the hip measurement. You measure around your hip, whatever measurement you have, you divide it by 4. The one I'm working with, the hip is 41 inches. When I divide it by 4, it gives me 10.25. So I will mark my 10.25 on my hip line. I will mark the same 10.25 on my waist knee and my full length line. Then I will connect them. Connect here with a straight line. I will then connect from my hip line to the waist line. After connecting it, let's impute our dart for the front now. Remember, our dart intake was 1.5, which we are marking 0.75 on each side of the dart. So to impute my dart, I will mark my bust span measurement divide by 2. The nipple to nipple measurement that I'm working with is 9 inches. When I divide 9 inches by 2, that gives me 4.5. So I will mark my 4.5 points. Then my dart for the front will be 5 inches long. So I will mark my 5 inches long. So I will connect a straight line. So on each side of my dart, I'm going to mark 0.75. You can decide to make use of 0.5 or even 1 inch. It depends on your own preference. So I'll connect it. So that is my dart for the front. So now, coming to my waistline, I'm going to increase this point. This is my waistline. I will raise it by half of an inch. So I'll mark half of an inch. Increase the line. Coming to the center front on the waistline, I will come down by 1 inch. This helps your skate to sit well, to balance well. Then I will connect using my curve ruler. Can you see? So this is my new line. So now let's go to the shaping of a skate. What will actually make it a pencil skate? This is basically how to draft your basic skate. So now let's convert it into pencil skate. So coming to your waist knee line, you need to determine how tight you want the down part to be, how penciled you want it to be. So for the purpose of this project, I want mine to be 2 inches. I want to use 2 inches to shape the down part. So coming to my waist knee, I will mark 2 inches. Starting from here, I will mark 2 inches towards my center front. You can decide to use 3 inches. You can decide to even make use of 1.5. It depends on how tight you want it to be and how comfortable you want it to be. Then coming to my full line, coming to my full length line, I'm going to minus the same 2 inches. Then I will connect to have a straight line. Can you see? Then I will connect from this line to my hip line. Make sure you blend any sharp points. Okay, so our front pencil skate is ready. So let's add our seam allowance. Now for my seam allowance, I'm going to make use of 1 inch. So when it comes to this shaping, your seam allowance is starting from here, not here. The same way for the full length line. I'll connect my seam allowance. So here is not needed. So my hemming allowance, I'm going to make use of 2 inches hemming allowance. So I'll add my hemming allowance. So coming here, I'm going to come up by 1/4 of an inch so that I will connect the line. Can you see? So here, so I'll cut my pattern now. So this is our front pattern. So let's draft the back pattern now. You can decide to use your front pattern to trace out the back pattern, but I'm going to draft the back fully new on its own. I'm not going to trace it. So as you can see, I have drawn a line here which serves as my starting point, and I will call that my waist line. And this is my side back, and this is my center back. So the next thing I'll do will be for me to draw a line that will represent my zipper allowance. I'm going to draw 2 inches line which will represent my zipper allowance. So this is my zipper allowance. Okay, so now let's impute all our vertical measurements. Let's start from the hip. Already we have our waist measurement. Let's go to the hip measurement. Remember that starting from our waist line, we use 9 inches, which is our hip line. I'll measure same here so that I can draw a straight line. So you have to measure your own to have your own straight line. Then the next line will be my raised knee. Remember that I made use of 21 inches for my raised knee. So use the same measurement you use for the front, you need to use same for the back. I'll connect it to have a straight line. Then our full length. Remember that our full length was 38 inches. So after marking my vertical measurement, I'll go ahead and mark my horizontal measurements. So let's start from the waist. So for the waist, measure around your waist, divide whatever measurement you have by 4. For example, the one I'm working with is 30 inches. When I divide by 4, that gives me 7.5. So my markings is starting from this line, the line that demarcates my zipper allowance. So I'll mark my 7.5. Remember our dart intake. So our dart intake for the back will still be 1.5. So I will add my 1.5. Then I'll go to my hip measurement, measure around the hip. Whatever measurement you have, you divide by 4. The one I'm working with is 41 inches. When I divide that by 4, that gives me 10.25. Mark my 10.25 on the hip line. I mark same on my raised knee. This is my raised knee line. This is my hip line and my full length line. So I will mark my 10.25 on my raised knee line. Mark same on my full length line. Then I will connect with a straight, connect with my ruler to form a straight line. Then I will use my curve ruler to join the hip to my waist line. Can you see? So now let's impute our darts. So the darts for my back, I said it earlier that I'm using 0.75 on each side, the same way I use for the front. So I'm going to mark my bust span measurement, divide by 2, which is 9 inches. When I divide by 2, that gives me 4.5. Then the length of my dart for the back will be 4 inches. Remember the front was 5 inches. So I will mark my 4 inches. I'll check here to know it's 4.5. Yes. So I will draw a straight line. Then I will mark my 0.75 on each side. I'll connect it to my dart. So this is my dart for the back. The next thing now will be for me to come to my waist line. I will raise here the same way we did for the front. I will raise it by half of an inch. So I will mark half of an inch. Then coming to my waistline this other way, I'm going to connect it. I'm not going to come down the same way I came down for my front. So for the back, I'll just connect it to my waistline with a slightly curved roller. Can you see? Then here, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch inside. That is from my zipper allowance. I'm going to mark 1/2 inch. Then I will connect from this 1/2 inch to my hip line. That is for the shaping of the boot, so that the boot can balance well, and when you sit, it will not really tight your tummy for those that have big tummy. So now let's go ahead and shape the down part of the dress. Remember, for the front we made use of 2 inches shaping, so we will use same for the back. But for the back, we are going to divide that 2 into 2 sides, not taking it from one side like we did for the front. So for the back, we are going to divide it into 2. So when you divide 2 by 2, it gives us 1. So I will take 1 inch on my waist knee line, 1 inch here as well, and 1 inch on my full length and the other side of my full length. So let's measure it now. So connect with a straight line. Connect with my straight roller to have a straight line. Then connect from here to my hip line. I'll connect here to my hip as well. Can you see? So now I'm going to mark my zipper allowance. So I'm making use of 1.5 inch zipper allowance. So my zipper allowance is starting from this other mark here. There was 0.5 points. So I'll mark. You can decide to use 2 inches zipper allowance. You can even use 1 inch. Depends on what you want. So because of the shaping, your zipper allowance will not be straight. So that's why we're marking it now. So I'll connect my zipper allowance line. Make sure you blend all your sharp points. So now this other point is not needed. So let's add our seam allowance. Remember, we made use of 1 inch seam allowance for the front, so we are using the same 1 inch for the back. Remember, our waist knee will be here, not here. this. So I will connect with a straight line. So my folding allowance, remember I made use of 2 inches for the front, so I will use same for my back. I will raise here as well, a 1/4 inch. Then I will cut my pattern. So this is the final outcome of our pencil skate pattern. Can you see how neat it looks like? So thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe to our channel and turn on your notification bell so that you'll be notified when once I drop new sewing tutorial. See you on next video. Bye bye.